Hey, welcome. I'm just experimenting with a screen recorder, so we'll see how things go. Um, it's not working out quite like I wanted it to. Okay, so let's get that off the screen. Okay, so with any movie, right, there's gonna be a whole bunch of detractors and haters and naysayers and nitpickers like myself. But the point of the topic today is that there's honestly and actually a wrong way to criticize a film. Um, if you hate things, that's okay, right? Not everything is going to be good, but if you have something that actually doesn't have the flaws that you want to conflate with it, then that's a problem because then you're just making things up to be outraged about. For example, this Twitter thread, which I'm only going to read to you the ones that are numbered because that's what I really want to talk about. So this is a tweet from Kyle. Hi Kyle, hope you're watching. The Russo brothers in Endgame mocked Thor for his struggles and used him as comic relief. Basically exposed themselves as misogynists when they reshot the Vormir scene when Clint was supposed to die, instead went with Nat. Forced RDJ into killing off Tony Stark, which in itself is incredibly fooked up considering how much work he's put into this character for the past decade. It's actually been 11 years. Now I find out they wanted to pair Valkyrie with Thor, even though it isn't necessary for them to get together, which suggests that they don't think a male and a female can just be friends. And finally, they basically prove they don't care about a single character in that movie apart from Steve, and everybody else doesn't matter to them, which is so clear by the way the movie ended. So in conclusion, it's Fook the Russo brothers. And don't get me wrong, I loved Endgame. I don't think you did. All right, so one by one, right? Mocked Thor for his struggles and used him as comic relief. That's not true, all right? Because Thor's whole thing is he feels like he failed because he didn't go for the head. That's why the first thing Thor does is go for the head. And then he says, I went for the head. So his depression doesn't stem from a root of comic relief. It stems from him being damaged as a character and wanting redemption, same way that Tony does in the movie. That's why he has to see if he's still worthy of Mjolnir. That's why he's like, let's kill him properly this time. That's why he wants to get Thanos when he shows up from the past. He's like, hey, I got a score to settle with this guy. Me and him, we're going after this. And then at the end of the movie, he's like, I don't know who I am. I know what I'm supposed to be, but I don't know who I am. That's his arc in the movie. He has to now go find out who he is as a person. Basically expose themselves as misogynists when they reshot the scene so that Natasha would die instead of Hawkeye. The reason Black Widow died instead of Hawkeye is because Hawkeye has a family and a wife. That's who he was fighting for. That's who he was wanting to bring back. That's the whole reason he went on this endeavor, because he was promised that he could bring them back. That's the reason that he went after this. He had really no other motivation other than just family. That's what his mind was on, obviously. Nat doesn't have that. She can't have that. She gave her life so that everybody could get back the things that they held most dear because she didn't have a family or anything like that. She didn't really have anybody close to a family other than the Avengers. And her sacrifice, they got them back. So forced RDJ into killing off Tony Stark, which in itself is incredibly fooked up, considering how much work he's put in. We all know how much work he's put in. He's more aware of that than anybody. I'm willing to bet that Tony Stark's death in the movie was Robert Downey's idea. He said 3 years ago in a press conference for Captain America Civil War that he loves playing Iron Man, but he wants to get out before it's embarrassing. So for the last few years, he's wanted out of the role. The only reason he's been in it so long is because he had to renew his contract so that he could be in Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, because they used him up before he was ready to do those movies. You know, he was in 3 Iron Mans, 2 Avengers, a Captain America, and Spider-Man. That's already more movies than everybody signed on to be in, so he had to do 2 extras. I don't know what people really want, though. Besides, his death was poetic. And now I find out that they wanted to pair Thor and Valkyrie. Thor and Valkyrie were a couple in the comics. That's like complaining that people wanted Hawkeye and Black Widow to get together. Like, it happened. Or wanting Captain America and Black Widow to get together. That's what I wanted because it's been a thing in the comics. In the movie Next Avengers, I think it is, they have a kid. So, excuse me if I thought maybe they had some sexual tension there, but I guess not. They proved that they don't care about a single character in the movie apart from Steve. I get where you're coming from on this, right? Because Tony died, Steve got to live the rest of his life, and nobody else really got conclusions. But that's not true. Widow's story is done. Her self-sacrifice ended her story. Tony's self-sacrifice ended his story, which is a huge service to the character. Captain America did go back in time and live the rest of his life. Yes, because the fight is over. He can lay down his shield and retire. He's done. Hulk and Thor aren't done. Their story arcs are not complete yet, so you can't say that they were disserviced when there's still more story to tell with each of them, should someone come along and choose to do so. And also, this movie was never supposed to serve as a conclusion to everybody's story. They never purported it to be that. Just, it's the end game for the Avengers. The core Avengers are done. Hawkeye's retired. Thor's in space, finding himself. Hulk has got one arm, probably going to teach college somewhere. Captain America is now Falcon. Steve Rogers is an old man. Tony Stark is dead. All the original Avengers got their arcs. I don't understand what else you really want. I mean, they couldn't wrap up Black Panther's story and Spider-Man's story and Doctor Strange's story since those just began. This is the conclusion of Act 1 of the MCU, not every character. Everybody that was introduced before 2012, they got their completed arcs. Everybody else, there's still more stuff to do with them. So I don't know what you want. Did you want the Guardians to die again, or did you want well, we all kind of want Captain Marvel to die in one way or another. But I just don't understand the way that some people feel about these movies. Wow. Now that I'm reading through more of the thread, I'm sure you read it while it was on screen, but it's ridiculous that that you can froth at the mouth so vehemently about a movie and then say that you loved it when all your criticisms are literally incorrect. All it takes is to pay attention to the movie. The next time you watch a movie, pay attention to it. You know, you'll probably enjoy it a whole lot more if you actually know what happens. So that's my rant for today. I'll see you later.